I see your face. 365 fucking days. Please tell me everything's all okay with you. Cause I'm moving on and I found the one.
Hey guys, Tony with the second lesson for the week of May 8th. In this lesson I want to talk about something that I think has been hurting quite a few people, not just in Discord, but overall retail trading in general. And it's probably been this way, since October, so 7-8 months now. People just are failing to adapt to the market due to their own bias. There's a couple different factors that I think play into what produces bias for people. Obviously there's more than what I have listed, but I think these are the ones that I could think of off the top of my head that I see pop up quite often. And I'll just be honest, if you have bias in this market, you are not having a good time at all. You are probably losing more than you're winning. You're probably cutting winners extremely early and holding on to losers too long. And like I said, there's a couple different factors that bias could stem from. So I really hope this lesson helps. And I cannot stress how important it is to relieve yourself of any bias in any market. The best thing you can do at this moment in time is play the market day to day, and it's been that way for, like I said, 7-8 months. So let's just get into some reasons why I think that, or what may be producing that bias within yourself. Obviously, the number one thing is Twitter. There's so many people on Twitter that try to instill bias in you in one way or another, whether it's on purpose or not. The last 2 weeks, I've been seeing people call SPY bottom. I've been seeing people call SPY bottom since October. Where's that gotten people? I think people were calling bottom on SPY this week. What was it, Wednesday? Where did that get us? The very next day, we dropped about 20 points. So Twitter is terrible in my opinion. If you're following the wrong people, there's a select few that produce some really good information, but there's a whole hell of a lot of people on Twitter that try to instill bias in you for a particular reason or not. Also, most people on Twitter have no clue what they're talking about. So I think the best thing you could possibly do right now is unfollow most of the people you follow on Twitter. They're not benefiting you at all. Twitter is just a whole lot of noise that is going to create tremendous bias in your trading. Another big thing I see is people aren't confident in their own TA, so they go out and search others' opinions, whether it's myself or other people on Twitter or people in a Discord. However they go about that, they are not confident in their own TA. So they go out and seek an opinion from somebody else, and that gets them burned more often than not. There's nothing wrong with, not trusting your TA because maybe you're a beginner and you're just not at that point where you really trust your TA. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's why I teach TA and preach TA, because I think if you get good with TA, you don't need anybody else. You can make decisions every single day by yourself, and you don't need another person to help you with that. So confidence in TA is a very big one. News. Now, this one's a little strange because with news, a lot of the times, so for example, when we had the news of Russia invading Ukraine, obviously we saw reaction in the market, volatility in the market, which was to be expected. But news sometimes doesn't last, or market reaction to news sometimes doesn't last. So say, for example, we see an adverse event happen. We think, oh, this isn't good for the market. We see the market pull back hard one day. And then into the next day, we're like, oh, well, we're just going to continue with with how we performed yesterday due to this news, and that day we actually bounce back and run a little bit. That bias from the day prior, which is also something I have on this list, you can't, in this market specifically, you can't really look at what happened the day before or the week before to kind of gauge an opinion on the direction of the market. Yeah, we all have opinions on which way we think the market's going to go. But like I said, if you're taking too much or putting too much into news or putting too much into how we performed the day prior or the week prior, a lot of the times it's killing people because this market's so unpredictable. We really don't know which way we're headed day to day. So I think, yes, it's important to know what's going on in the news, but you can't put that much weight into it. And the same thing with the day prior or week prior. Yes, it's important to know where we were, but the best thing you can do is play day to day. Another problem is people either don't know how to play both ways, they're a perma bull for whatever reason, they're a perma bear for whatever reason, and that gets people killed. Learning to play both ways is your best bet. Swing traders that haven't adapted are not having a good time right now. This is why we transitioned to basically options only since October, because I thought this would be what's best for everybody to learn how to play both ways, and that turned out to be the case. So having perma bull or perma bear bias is really going to get you killed in this current market. Another problem is overthinking. Where you start running every different scenario in your head, whether it's based off a chart, based off whatever else it may be, and then you start to see both sides to the trade where you're like, looking at something, this looks good for calls, but I can see how this could pull back as well. You start overthinking, and then by that point, you don't even make a decision. You've thought of every possible scenario that could play out. And it turns into information overload, which is my last point. You have so much going on that you're trying to process. You just simply don't make a trade because what you originally thought actually plays out, but then you started to bring these other ideas in your head, and that kind of really hinders you and your ability to take trades after that. So I think these are but I think these topics listed are the ones I see the most. I'm sure there's others, like I said, but I know this is affecting a lot of people, and I encourage everybody to really try this week to eliminate any bias they have and just play everything day to day. Chart your levels out the night before, the morning before, and just go from there. If you have any bias in this market, you're going to get destroyed. So like I said, I hope this lesson helps, and I hope you took something from this. Thanks, guys.